Most great men die in obscurity. Joe Pilates was no exception. Joe Pilates didn't achieve notoriety outside of New York City for his revolutionary fitness method he called contrology. Today, he is revered by Pilates teachers and practitioners around the world, but sadly, most students don't know he was a real person. I am an accidental Pilates teacher, and the more I teach Pilates, the more I am humbled by his genius. Joseph Pilates published a book in 1945 called Return to Life Through Contrology. I've lived that return through life with his method. I had to make the pilgrimage and visit his resting place to pay my respects, the mausoleum at Ferncliff. It's an impressive Art Deco building, a large cavernous space one can easily get lost in. I asked for help at the office. The people at the office thought I may have been mistaken. They weren't aware Joseph Pilates was interned at Ferncliff. But a look in the database confirmed Joe was in the building. Excited as one gets working in a place like that, they called an usher to help. After a short search, I reached the end point, the location of such a remarkable man. I've never visited the final resting site of anyone I knew in life, and here I am, and I can't help but feel a sense of kinship to someone I never met. Yet through the barrier of time and space, I have felt his presence and his teaching as if he instructed me in person. My name is Spiro. Today I'm in my kitchen where my Pilates journey accidentally began. This is the restaurant that I grew up in. I've worked here since I was 14 years old, and having worked a lifetime in restaurants where 8, 10, 12, 15-hour days are the norm has taken a toll on my back. In my 40s, I began to feel debilitating back pain, and I was no longer able to function. I saw a chiropractor, and for a couple of years, I got some relief, but eventually the pain was persistent. It wasn't going away, and he referred me to a spine specialist. The spine specialist suggested surgery to get rid of pain, and I saw a second opinion and a third, and the consensus was that I did need the spinal fusion in order to get out of my back pain. I met with my doctor to inform him on my plans to receive the spinal fusion surgery, and he actually suggested physical therapy. And in physical therapy, I was introduced to Pilates. It was just a couple of exercises, and I performed the exercises, and even though I didn't get total relief, just doing some of the exercises, I started feeling some relief, and I started feeling better. And eventually, I wanted more. I studied Pilates on my own. My partner bought me a home reformer, and I practiced in my house, not knowing what I was doing. It came with a DVD, a little disc that I would put in my computer, and I would see an exercise and go over to the reformer and perform the exercise. And even though I wasn't able to do it correctly, and it didn't feel quite as good as it does now, it did give me some relief, and I started feeling better. Eventually, I went to take private lessons, and my pain kept going away, and I was feeling better and better. And that's when I decided to become a Pilates teacher. After physical therapy, I started doing Pilates on my own. First, there was the first few exercises that I learned at physical therapy. And then I looked up things online. I bought videos. I started feeling better. Even though there was some discomfort in the way I was moving and the way the machine was forcing me to move, it felt better. Things made sense to me. And eventually I started taking classes. I went from place to place, and I saw that things were done differently from one place to the other, and I questioned the validity of some of the styles of Pilates, I suppose you can call it, and I wanted more. A lot of the exercises that are taught in Pilates are in an order that doesn't necessarily make any sense. It didn't make any sense to me at the time because some of the exercises did not feel good, and I saw that there was a difference between what was taught at classes and what I would do on my own, because I chose to do the exercises that actually felt good. And when I would go to take classes at different locations, some of the exercises didn't feel good. They actually hurt. And that's when I began to question the validity of some of the things that are taught. And I wanted to learn more and to find out if there was a discrepancy between what was taught by the teachers who were teaching the classes, or there was something with the exercises that I would not be able to perform or may never be able to perform. So that questioning of what was taught in classes made me want to learn more. One thing I kept hearing over and over again by my teacher, my first teacher, who actually was a great instructor, and that's why I became hooked on Pilates, that Joe Pilates didn't have an order of the exercises. He just taught each person, and he had prescribed exercises that was specifically for that body. And that's when I started solidifying my philosophy and my approach to Pilates, because not everybody is the same and not everybody is able to do all the exercises. So the order and structure that a lot of Pilates schools of thought have, I find it to be a little restrictive and perhaps counterintuitive and not constructive to strengthening. So there are a lot of different Pilates schools of thought. One is classical Pilates, and these teachers and schools like to model themselves or attach themselves closer to Joseph Pilates. And there's contemporary Pilates, which to an extent it's a shoot-off of Pilates, but not necessarily doesn't adhere to the principles of Pilates. They do a lot of things that perhaps don't make sense, that are counterintuitive to Pilates. And there are also a lot of other schools of thought who have adapted some Pilates principles into the exercises, and they have kind of bastardized Pilates. And that's where I feel that there needs to be a reining in on all these different philosophies of Pilates, because there can only be one Pilates. On his deathbed, Joe Pilates said the whole world will be doing Pilates one day. And he was right. However, I don't know how happy he would be about what is taught today as Pilates under the guise of the name Pilates. A lot of people who teach Pilates take liberty to teach Pilates the way they think that Pilates should be taught, not how Joe Pilates intended. And I think that's unfortunate, because not every teacher has come to know Pilates, understand Pilates, and teach Pilates effectively. Through my journey, I believe that I understand what Joe Pilates intended and how he wanted the world to do his method. The Pilates method is focused on strengthening the core. There has been a lot of research as of late on the importance of strengthening the core, and a lot of people take credit for discovering the importance of the core. However, Joe Pilates knew about the core 100 years earlier, and he was dismissed by many critics in his time, but he was proven right. You cannot strengthen your body without focusing on strengthening the core, because all true strength comes from the center of the body. The core is the foundation for all the extremities, and that's where true strength is derived from. So as where people are struggling to transform their body and gain strength doing meaningless exercises, whether it's at the gym or any other place, they're just wasting their time. So Joe Pilates had a saying, and he would say that, why do 10 pounds of effort for 1 pound of work? Do half a pound of effort for 1 pound of work. And that's what Pilates is. You get better results with less effort and no wear and tear on your body. So it's pure strengthening. So whether Joe Pilates invented all the exercises that we know today as the Pilates mat exercises, he was a genius because he invented a lot of machines. And the machines that he invented are just as valuable today or more effective than anything else you will find at a regular box gym, because they strengthen your body a lot more effectively and safely. This right here is the Cadillac, as most people know it, but Joe Pilates actually called the trapeze table. And if you look at this contraption over here, it looks like something you would see at a circus, or a lot of people have different definitions of what this could be used for. But it's actually a piece of machinery that will strengthen your body and fine-tune every muscle in your body more effectively and safer than anything you'll find at the gym. So this is the Wunda chair. If you look at it, it looks just a piece of furniture. Maybe a little chair, there's a pedal on it. On its own, it doesn't do anything. But it's a treadmill, it's an elliptical machine, it's a Stairmaster, and it's one mean kick-ass machine. This is the mountain climber. Control balance. This is the reformer. This is what most people think of when they think of Pilates. Joseph Pilates was the inventor of this machine. And this piece of equipment has not changed in the past 100 years or so. It's a very versatile piece of equipment. It'll stretch and strengthen every muscle, tendon, and ligament in your body from head to toe. There's no other piece of equipment that can replicate that stretch and strengthening of the body. There are springs in the front that are adjustable for resistance depending on one's strength, and there are straps in the back that are used to strengthen the upper body, and you can work on it facing the front, facing the back, on your stomach, with all different pieces of attachments that come along with it, and it's really a magical piece of equipment in a gymnasium. Another reason why this machine is so versatile is that it's something that an 80-year-old person with osteoporosis can use effectively to strengthen their body, and an Olympic athlete. They would both do the exercises modified differently, but they can both use it, and certainly both can benefit. When I teach Pilates, I teach as if Joe Pilates is watching over my shoulder, making sure that I teach everything the way he intended to. Pilates is a magical form of exercise. It's functional movement, and it focuses on moving the body the way the body was intended to move. So I have healed my body through Pilates, and many of my clients who come, their aches and pains have disappeared.